The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. It's time to talk about the Orange and Navy this morning. The Blackman Blaze here with us, and Matt Kriesky is here. Is it orange or burnt orange, or do you have a?
I would say more orange.
Orange?
Burnt orange. When you say burnt orange, I think Texas.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
it's more Auburnish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, good to have you here with us this morning, Coach. And first thing I've got to say is, wow, what a great crowd, great atmosphere for a high school football game last night.
It was good. Both communities came out and supported their teams, and I thought it was good. Thought they did a great job.
Yeah, hosting games. I don't think Scott will mind me saying this, but he comes through the press box and everything's over with, and he said, I do like away games in many parts of that, and just putting everything together and the pressure of all of that and all the people that it takes. I mean, it takes an army to get things going on a Friday night. Yeah,
they do a great job, and he gets all the logistics set up where we don't have to really worry about too much. We're fortunate that, he gets taking care of the press box and, making sure everything with the pass gate's taken care of, people getting in and out. And so it's him and Mr. Lawless, Mr. Smith, the entire administration, they do a great job, and we don't really have to worry about it other than, a few things. And so we really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be overwhelming for the football coach to have to deal with all of that. I mean, unmanageable, really.
Yeah, well, I did that at my previous school, and it wasn't fun. So,
wow.
So I do not take Fridays for granted, and I really appreciate it. Not having to set up and make sure the track is cleared, everything y'all are taken care of when you're there. I don't have to do any of that, and so It's good. I get to relax and focus on football.
Man, I didn't know that wasn't a normal thing. I guess that's another reason we're spoiled here in Rutherford County.
It is.
Coach, last night we really thought that it was going to be the game that it was, a close game. The team that scored first might have enough. I went back and looked over some of the history since 2012, and going into last night's game, Blackman had a 9-3 advantage in the series. And one game was decided by 1 point, one by 2, one by 3, another by 4. So there were 4 games in that 12 games that was decided by 4 points or less. And, you answered last night, Riverdale's first score.
I'm not really negative on here too much, but offensively we had too many penalties. First play of the game, we get unsportsmanlike penalty, puts us back, inside the 10. That's not what we're about. If you saw all night, we were playing behind the chains due to things, mostly penalties. I mean, you look at our number of penalties we had and how many yards it cost us. I mean, that was huge. That's really disappointing and uncharacteristic of us. You give, that first series, you give Riverdale a short field. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, you're not setting your defense up for success when you give Riverdale a short field the first time they touch the football. So we put our defense in a bind pretty much all night last night, and that was pretty disappointing. You look at the third quarter and watch the film last night. Riverdale had the ball. 18 plays and 18 plays in the third quarter. What do we have at 3? Yeah, you can't do that. If you're going to win these type of games, you can't do that. You can't only have the ball 3 plays, go 3 and out when you get the ball, and expect to beat a good team. And that's things that we've been trying to overcome all year. We can't. You look at it. If a couple of times, if we, hit the play where we're going, it's going to break, 5, 6, 7 yards. But we decide not to do that. We practice, way to block a specific play. We have a guy just completely runs by him. You can't make those type of mistakes against a good football team. You can maybe against a pure academy, but not Riverdale, not Oakland, not Brentwood, not Ravenwood. You got to play sound football for 4 quarters, and that's what we preached all week. and it did not happen. We looked offensively, we looked a little deer in the headlight look last night. That was really disappointing, frustrating, because I felt like we had a good week of practice. I don't know if the atmosphere, everything on the field got to us. I give Riverdale's offensive staff great credit. I thought they made some great adjustments in the second half. Did some things that hurt our defense that where I didn't think we've been hurt all year. So they did a great job. But when we got the ball in the third quarter and went 3 and out, under a minute, it wasn't good. And you can just kind of felt the air out of the balloon right there. And we giving Riverdale the ball back, short field again in the fourth quarter, and so it just things didn't go our way. So now what are we going to do? Are we going to completely fall apart these last 2 weeks, and do some uncharacteristic things that we haven't done all year long? Or are we going to pull together and do what I think we can do and close out this season on a positive note? And just like I've said in here, just like I tell the kids, our goal is to get that 11th game. We get that 11th game, everybody 0-0 then, and we'll see what happens after that.
Matt Kriesky joining us this morning, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. The middle part of the game, every game, win the middle. You hear that a lot. And I thought your guys showed a lot of a lot of promise there, I guess, in that into the first half to get that score in to tie it at halftime. But when you only have 3 plays and your defense is out there so long, that was really the story of the third quarter, wasn't it? Yes,
it was, and you could tell, man. Guys were playing hard.
Sure.
And you could tell the look on their face. And some one time you could tell that they're kids. They almost you felt it like I just knew they're about to give up. They didn't give up. They kept fighting. They were frustrated. We were all frustrated. But it's part of it. But they play their lights out. We're going to correct some things on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to move forward. We've got 2 more games. You're guaranteed 10 games. I tell them. So we've got 2 more. We've got to make the best of these last 2 opportunities to set us up for hopefully an 11th game.
I do want you've already touched on penalties, turnovers. Those are huge and key parts of a game, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but just to show you how I want the listeners to know that your defense, as gassed as they might have been in some parts of that second half, just because they were out there so long, forced a 4th down and a punting situation, and then a penalty. It's not necessarily the number of penalties, but when they occur, and that was at a critical part in the game.
Yeah, you look the first series and the second half, we stop them, and then we get roughing the kicker. Gives them first down, they drive and score. We don't run into the kicker. Could be a totally different ballgame. You don't know. You can say ifs and that's and whatever, but just that hurt. And then just like the one you mentioned, we had another one. So 2 penalties that when they make stops and brings them back out there, that's kind of deflating. But they kept fighting and kept trying. Coach Crosby and the entire defense staff today, they do a great job. One area I felt like this year that we've taken advantage of is the special teams. Didn't feel like we did that Friday night. First kickoff return, we had a holding penalty. We had a roughing the punter penalty. We had a kid not have his mouthpiece in, 15-yard penalty. So that's 3 key penalties on special teams that we have not had all year long. That's very uncharacteristic of that group. Coach Holman does an excellent job with our special teams. The amount of work that he puts in, the amount of practice reps he requires and wants me to do each week in practice, that's not what he teaches his units to do. And I know that he's going to get that fixed this week.
Proud for Archie Roseman. He had a couple of sacks last night and doubled his season total. So your kids played hard on the defensive side of the ball. And just to mention Grant Gardner, he had 71 yards rushing last night for you. So those are emotional and tough games to get over, but you have to. Otherwise, the 11th game is going to elude you.
Yeah. And going back to Archie. Archie was sick all week.
Was he really?
All week long. He got really sick over fall break. Came back, we didn't let him practice Monday, let him come in, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could still see the effects of it, but he fought through it. And that's our defensive mentality. Those guys, they're going to play through sickness. They're going to do whatever they can to be on the field. And you mentioned those 2 sacks he had. Those were huge.
Yeah.
So I was proud of him and how he fought through some adversity this week and played a good game.
Those are the individual stories I love to hear, and I know this is called the Coach's Show, but it's really opportunities to talk about kids like that who are trying to persevere and just love the game of football. And so congrats to Archie on a fine night like that last night. So Siegel is the next opponent up for you. It's
Coffee
at home.
County.
I'm sorry.
I mean, not Siegel. Rockville.
It's Rockville. I knew I had the wrong guy. We're doing that
game. You threw
game.
me off.
We're doing that game, actually, and we'll be back out there for that one. But you've got 2 critical games, and again, to mention that 11th game, that's important for you, and that goal is still ahead for you.
Yes, sir. That's still attainable. We got to come together and get ready to work on Monday. Been able to watch a little bit of Rockville past couple of weeks. They're a good football team. Their record doesn't indicate how good they are. So we've got to be ready and have a good week of practice and be ready to play on Friday night.
Well, I know you'll have the guys ready, and we'll be out there once again from the Inferno to broadcast the game. Always enjoy coming out. And, Coach, good luck. Congrats on a great home game last night. I did tell your brother that I bet he wished he had that gate.
Yeah. Is there anything y'all want in the press box next week so I can let Mr. Lawless know? Go ahead and get y'all a special catered meal.
Oh no,
okay.
They take care of us. I mean, Principal Smith came up the first game we did this season, and we had little bags of candy and treats.
Yeah.
He really knows how to put that fine touch on things, doesn't he?
He sure does. He probably picked him up some donuts this morning, listening right now.
I probably did. I saw him a few weeks ago at Donut Country.
So he came and talked to me about that. So
did
he picks him up some donuts. So we hope Mr. Smith has a great weekend this weekend.
Well, you might have to bring him up here one time. Let him come up here with you, something like that. All right, Matt. Thanks. That's Matt Kriesky joining us here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Las Gasas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more.
Is your saving for retirement strategy involving the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday"? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, and when it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side. And there's no better time than now to get started towards your retirement goals. Give us a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson